Hey guys, Cream Crazy here. Welcome to my WWE No Way Out 2012 results and opinions vid. Now I'm going to keep this as short as I possibly can because I don't want to spend too long down here. I've got revision in the morning, film studies revision, so I've got to be wide awake for that. So this paper, I've done this review a different way than I usually would do. I've actually found it's worked. I've watched the pay-per-view, noted down little key moments, and basically I've enjoyed watching the matches as they are in general. Although watching on this little computer right here is not the best thing, to be honest. I'd rather watch it on my TV, but, you know, that's how things go sometimes. Right, first off, we start with the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm thinking, what? What a way to just because Ziggler's in it? Because he only got 2 weeks, or at least a week of build? No. Sorry, you don't put this championship match at the beginning of the pay-per-view. I was thinking Christian and Cody would kick it off. It wasn't to be. Anyway, Sheamus defeated Dolph Ziggler to retain the World Heavyweight Championship in an okay match. Ziggler got a decent pop, which is awesome. And I was literally shouting on my screen, like probably many of you were, saying no. For the love of God, no. Because Sheamus nearly got away with the same shit that happened at WrestleMania. A kiss from Vicky Guerrero, but luckily Ziggler got out of the way, which was awesome. There were some cool things in here. An awesome jumping DDT by Ziggler gave him some offense after a period of Sheamus dominance. Because at this time, this match was basically Sheamus steamrolling through him for a while. When Ziggler got on the offense, though, it was pretty cool. A fireman hold was counted into another float DDT by Ziggler. He really hit the hard offense here. They counted over a knee lift into the face into a sleeper hold as well. Ziggler got some really good stuff here. Ziggler nearly botched a jump onto the ropes and hit an X Factor from the top rope. Got him a 2 count, which is pretty awesome. Ziggler missed a zigzag and Sheamus hit with an impressive Irish curse backbreaker off that rebound. He then hit the white noise and the brogue kick to get the win. I felt this match started off quite slow due to the groundwork that Ziggler and Sheamus put in. I mean, the fact is, Sheamus doing headlock takedowns to kick this match off was a bit anticlimactic. However, after that got away with it, the physicality told a good story, because even Sheamus had felt a bit exhausted. He showed signs of fatigue because of that. I'm thinking, wow, this may establish Ziggler as a threat here. I feel that's a pretty cool thing. Ziggler sold his knee like a boss towards the end, though, after Sheamus, while being fatigued in the corner, kicked at it, but to be honest, there wasn't enough time to really build on that at all. Nonetheless, though, I quite enjoyed this match. The crowd were wide awake for it. If it had a bit more time and a bit more psychology to it, I could have given it a 2.5 stars. But unfortunately, I feel it was missing something, and probably psychology and length would have helped for that. Vicky Guerrero didn't interfere as either, so Ziggler got pinned clean in a very good showing from him. 1 3/4 stars I'm going to give that. Not really the best rating I can give for a world title match, but it was a decent opener, for sure. Next, Santino Marella defeated Ricardo Rodriquez in a tuxedo match. Now, there was a boring chant by the crowd, and I was feeling a bit, yeah, I don't give a shit about this. That's how I was feeling going into it. Good thing, though, this wasn't later on in the card. They got it out of the way early, which is fantastic. But the fact is, you're putting this over a world title match does not show anything good, does it? Nothing really happened. It was the typical Santino just getting over and just ripping all the stuff off that he could. And then Ricardo got a few shoes off, and then, well, he got one of the shoes off, and he threw the Cobra sock away, to then find there was a Cobra sock on the leg of Santino. Foot Cobra. The foot cobra to the throat, then got the win as Santino stripped off the last bit of clothing they needed to get the win. And it was even funnier because Ricardo had Del Rio's face on his underwear. Quite funny, to be honest. I was laughing my ass off a little bit. Now, this match would have been zero material. This would have been the epitome of a zero match. However, this match barely scraped along the bottom end that is the barrel of wrestling rating systems, because that foot cobra and the Del Rio underwear thing had me laughing. And to be honest, I don't want to give it a 0 even though it was complete horseshit, I want to give it a rating so minuscule that you can effectively give it a 0. And if you looked at the ratings down there in the description box, you'll know what that is. For the first time ever, I'm going to give a rating that isn't a 0, but isn't a quarter either. This is 1/75th of a star. Fuck, I can go even further. 1/95th of a star. This is the tiniest little thing. Because I was laughing, that's all that can be said, okay? I was laughing a little bit at the end, but the rest of it was horseshit. Does that count for a tiny little fraction? If you want to kill me, put your views in the comments section down below. Just saying, I really had a kick at the end there. I had to put that one minuscule 95th of a 1 star there. I had to. It had to be 1/75th, 1/95th, because it was that little margin that took it away from 0. It was so small, though. Must pledge that. Next, Christian defeated Cody Rhodes to retain the Intercontinental Championship in a very good match. I'll tell you now, this was the best match of the night, people. A mid-card match, the best match of the night? Lord no, this could be a change of the future here. There was a nice flying low drop kick by Christian to Cody on the outside, which kicked off the match, which near the start of the match kicked off pretty well. Cody whacked the arm into the ropes, kneed it, and stomped on it, with Christian selling like an absolute boss. Did it for a little while. Christian went for a tornado DDT. Cody countered and pushed Christian onto the apron, arm and shoulder first. And Christian again selling like an absolute boss. Cody then gets hit by a fantastic tornado DDT from the steps to the floor, which is cool. Back in the ring after a bit of Cody continuous offense here. Crossbody roll through by Cody for 2. And this is a great end sequence. A lovely end sequence. And, well, before this, you had an unprettier counted into a flashback DDT. Cody even attempted the unprettier and got hit by a flashback. Nice. Cody missed one disaster kick. Then he counters the unprettier, missed another disaster kick, and then ate the spear for Christian to get the win. Now, in my shortened notes, you will obviously know that this is not everything that went on in the match. But to be honest with you, it was back and forth. If you watch the pay-per-view, you'll know what I'm saying. Great back and forth match. And some fantastic psychology for the most part, because Christian did not sell when he left. His arm was holding the championship. He should have sold it because that thing is heavy. But nonetheless, so it was great. It's great momentum switches throughout. Made for some nice, unpredictable stuff, especially towards the end. Both these guys have great chemistry in the ring. Cody looked very powerful on the offense, and to be honest, Christian did as well for what little he got. And I didn't mention this, but there was also a frog splash, which Cody countered very well. But it's good to see a frog splash getting used. I knew these guys could put on a good match. I'd seen what the shit they went through at the last pay-per-view. And it was fun to watch and very entertaining, despite it being slow in places. Had a good run time and went well in capitalising how good Cody was, even in defeat. I enjoyed this match a lot, and the crowd did as well. They were really into it. So, I'll give this 3 stars. The highest rating of the night is 3. That's a good thing, right? Then we get the first filler match of the evening, which, to be honest, wasn't too bad. A fatal 4-way tag team match featuring Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, the primetime players, the Usos, Kid and Gabriel, and Epico and Primo, the winners becoming the #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Now, throughout this match had the usual tag team flair with some great tag team moves. Don't know why Titus O'Neil was lifting Darren Young up and gourd-bustering him on top of his opponent, but it was an effective move. Double back body Samoan drop by the Usos was quite nice. I loved the double super kicker later on, which is lovely to see. However, none of these teams got a reaction when they came out, but the one thing I will say, there was one thing that made this match awesome. There is one thing that will make this match awesome forever, and that was Tyson Kidd Hurricane Running Darren Young off the top rope, and he flew onto everyone else at ringside. I have to say right now, that was my mark-out moment of the night, because to be perfectly honest, I never expected, even in a filler tag match, something as good as that. Darren Young hit his impressive finisher. And I mean an impressive finisher. It's basically a backstabber gut first. And it is awesome. Got the win for the primetime players. AW, Abraham Washington at ringside, decides to stop his client Primo from helping Epico from helping Primo out there. And they get the win, shockingly. It was quite funny, because then AEW just has turned on them and just starts beating the crap out of them. It's fun. And I never thought I'd say this, but a WWE tag team has actually got some heel heat thanks to a turn. That's pretty impressive. There was some good tag action in this. Great moves, and I thought that Hurricane Rana was fantastic. Every team did get some offense in here, and it was genuinely fun to watch. I mean, it was basic tag action, but it was fun to watch. The more is the better in case of this, because 2 tag teams nowadays, I feel you can't invest it because you don't know them too well. You haven't seen many of them. Put 4 of them in a match together, you get a decent match. AEW screwing Epico and Primo at the end was nice, because like I said, the victors actually got some heat. I could hear some people booing, and that was a lovely thing to see. I enjoyed this match a bit. That'd be nice. Really nice, actually, because it's on the standard of a really good Divas match. It's a 1 star. That's what I give it. Ha! Right. Layla defeated Beth Phoenix to retain the WWE Divas Championship. Now, there was literally no reaction for either of them when they came out, really. I'm going to show Beth got a little reaction, but not much. It started off quite stupidly in a way, because Beth kept mocking Layla, saying, "You're not good enough to lace up my boots." And then Layla just slapped her, put her down, and then took Beth's headband, wore it, ran around the ring for ages, because Beth couldn't catch her, and I was disappointed by that. Beth then looked scared as Layla went on the offense, and there was a faint, boring chant from the New Jersey crowd. And nothing else really happened, to be perfectly honest. Military press slam countered into a DDT by Layla, which was lovely. Layla hit her neck breaker soon after that out of nowhere to get the win. And that kidding around by Layla just sucked the energy right out of this match. And I'm very disappointed about that. It picked up though, but not by much at all. The match was slow, the crowd were really not interested, and to be honest, they were getting a tiny bit hostile. They were getting, I can feel the bad murmurs going around. They really weren't liking it. I was wrong in thinking this would be anywhere better than the last pay-per-view match, because it wasn't. This was complete shit. And for that, if not for that DDT military press counter, this would have gotten a 0. Remember, my half star is 1 or 2 moves. A quarter star is usually 1 move or 1 or 2 instances that pick out. This would have been a 0 if not for that, because that was a genius piece of wrestling. Quarter of a star. Huzzah! That's all. I'm being nice here, folks. You must notice that. Next, another filler match. Cara defeating Hunico. And I didn't expect this to happen because I thought it was Ryback. He comes on later. Cara's new music, very anticlimactic. Very anticlimactic. The slower tempo does not help it one bit. Two good moves here that Hunico did. He picked up Cara and slammed him off a roll-up for 2. And then the Hurricane Rana counted into a powerbomb pin, which was nice. Cara went for La Mystica, botched it, but basically pinned anyway. He basically got the full rotation and slammed him, but he didn't get the arm bar locked in. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Cara, though, did get the win. I have to say, though, for what this match was quite slow. And it's mostly because even though the power moves by Hunico were good, and I'll tell you now, in a Cruiserweight style match, it's good to see a guy like Hunico using power moves. It changed the dynamic from the usual match we get with Cara. The fact is, though, it slowed the match down, causing the audience and me to lose interest. And the fact is, when you're with a guy like Cara, you need to be keeping him running around. You need a Cruiserweight like him to keep doing things like that. Otherwise, because if Cara is slow, we will then rip into him, and that is not a good thing. I don't want to give this match a 0 because there were some good power moves in here, and I felt, okay, that's a quarter of a star, but the slow tempo and pacing of this match just really lost my interest quickly. Nothing really was there for it, really. They didn't even play on the history that he was Sin Cara Negro in Hunico's case. They didn't bother to really make me get interested in it. Even the mood lighting returning didn't do it either. I'll give it a 0. I don't want to, but at the same time I kind of have to, because it just bored me. Enough said. Next, CM Punk defeated Daniel Bryan and Kane to win the WWE, to retain, the WWE Championship. Now this is quite interesting, folks, because I was watching this match, and I was talking to Rico3 all night. Thank you very much for being on Skype for there, mate. Well, you're on Facebook, but either way, it still technically counts as a Skype conversation because of the linking of the stuff. He kind of agreed with me on this. While this was a physical match that the crowd and I were into, there was multiple streams of offense, many near falls, and despite a few slow moments of Kane kept me engrossed, there weren't any real moves that made me stand out and go, wow, that's pretty awesome, or it didn't really keep my interest in certain periods. I mean, sure, when Daniel Bryan got uppercutted from jumping off the apron, and of course the little bit of psychology with the, well, what I wouldn't say psychology, but basically the great rib stretch on the pole and the continuous usage of that by Kane early on, that was okay. But the fact is, there wasn't much that made me really say something to remember in this match. It was literally the one thing I can remember from this match properly, apart from those two moments I've just mentioned, was AJ being pushed off the apron at the end. It made the match feel very anticlimactic, and that's really disappointing. Because I don't want a match like that. For a WWE Championship feud that's been given a lot, and in matches recently that have been given a lot, it just felt a bit watered down. Like, I don't want to blame Kane for it, but it to me just wasn't all I was expecting. Nonetheless, though, it was still relatively enjoyable. I'll give it 1 1/4 star. How about that? Because it was great apart from some memorable moments. I will give it everything else. I will give it that. So 1 1/4 star. That seems reasonable, right? And then we get to the traditional Ryback squash. Ryback defeated some douchebags called Dan Delaney and Rob Grimes in a handicap match, saying that they were ready to get to WrestleMania, had their WrestleMania moment, and they got flattened. I don't usually do this because it's unprofessional on YouTube. I went for a leak and got a drink when this match started, and I then got back when it finished, because I knew it was going to happen. Therefore, it's an automatic 0 because it is Ryback. I don't even need to watch any of the matches anymore, because they're all the fucking same. Simple as, people. And then finally we get to the main event, as Todd Grisham used to say. John Cena with Vince McMahon in his corner defeated The Big Show with John Laurinaitis in his corner in a steel cage match. Now, I will say this off the bat. There was nothing for a while in this match. It was very boring, because all Big Show did was just throw Cena around. It was just like, okay, it's 4 something in the morning and my mind was starting to switch off, but that's why I've got some cheese savouries from the cupboard to try and get my energy going. But the fact is, it just wasn't helping. There was one thing that made me perk up a bit. Big Show on the top rope decided to spring off the fucking thing and attempt an elbow drop. It missed, but it at least woke me up. Damn, I thought it was impressive. McMahon and Laurinaitis then start fighting over the door as Laurinaitis tries to shut the thing on Cena's head. Cena then walks into a chokeslam, kicks out at 2. Big Show knocks the ref out with the WMD. Then Cena's then hit by the WMD. Big Show's got a perplexing situation here. You're wondering, I could just climb out now. No one will give a shit. Brodus Clay then just runs out because he got beaten up recently, remember? With a steel chair in his hand. I'm thinking, there's no way Big Show's afraid of big old Brodus. And then Marella, Riley, and Zack Ryder come out. They get beaten up from inside the cage by Big Show. Kofi then knocks Show off the cage. Cena gets up, hits the AA. Clay then keeps Laurinaitis, stopping Cena getting out of the cage. Cena escapes over the top while Big Show just follows outside the door. And that literally was that close, but yeah. It's over. Cena won as we all expected. McMahon then said the famous words, "You're fired!" Followed up by with Laurinaitis being AA'd through the table to close the show off. denouncing him as the general manager. Now, even though this did start getting slightly exciting towards the end, it was way too late, people. This was boredom central. To be honest, that's the reason why I never stick Big Show in a steel cage, because unless he's got some other guy to work with in a triple threat or fatal four-way scenario, you're not going to get the best out of him. Honestly, that elbow drop woke me up, and it's one of the main memorable things in this. Rodriquez is gone. It makes me want to watch Raw tomorrow for sure. This match was very poor. Very poor. The ending rally gets it 1/4 of a star. The rest of it was forgettable as shit, to be honest with you. If you don't agree with me, that's your subtle opinion, but you want to give your opinion, you know how to do it. Comment section down below, people. I will appreciate your opinions. And, well, that's it. We're going to get to the final thoughts here. What do you think of this short review idea? Do you think I should do it more often, or do you like my long, detailed vids? Comment section, people. Put your opinions in there. This pay-per-view was better than Over the Limit. However, not by much. I'm pleased to see a mid-card title match be the best thing on the card for once, as well as a tag team clusterfuck be entertaining. The two title matches, while they were substandard, were still enjoyable to watch and pretty decent for the most part. However, the rest of the card just didn't stack up. The filler matches fitted their definition as shit for a definitive reason, and to be honest, the other matches were pretty damn poor to go with it, weren't they? I mean, one thing this pay-per-view does show to me, much like last month's pay-per-view, that the roster, not just the feuds, but the roster as well, lack depth. And with Laurinaitis gone, we could see a whole raft of change occurring tomorrow night on Raw. I must also mention at this point, Triple H also challenged Brock Lesnar to a match at SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes down. I felt a bit bored throughout this night, and again, it was on my computer here. I have to say, though, there were some moments that made me feel quite happy, and one match that really kept me going throughout the night. But the show just didn't tick many boxes, it disappointed me, and this wasn't the massive improvement that I wanted. I'm not disappointed, hugely, or angry by any means, like some people are going to be, but it's just slightly annoying when you expect WWE to come back in a blaze of glory, but they don't do it. Hopefully Money in the Bank will do something better. Due to Cody and Christian, the two title matches, and Tyson Kidd's Hurricane Rana, I give No Way Out 2012 a mediocre on the poor scale, 2 3/4 out of 10. I'm not too angry with that. I feel, even because I didn't have to pay for it in the end, I'm not too fussed. But the fact is, I expect, with Money in the Bank coming around, with the two ladder matches, and whatever the hell's building up with Triple H, Brock Lesnar, and whatever's going on with the general manager situation, we could see something good in the next month. Let's pray and hope for that. Guys, that's it. Really short review for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this new little format that I'm doing. Probably just for this show, but Lord knows, we could see it next month, couldn't we? What do you think? Comment section on the results of the matches, on anything that I've said today, you can do it. Plus, if you haven't clicked that button up there, that subscribe button, you know it's there. You click that, it'll make me a very happy guy. It knows that you like my vids and you want to see more. Because my exams end this Thursday. I will be back to a regular video schedule from there, and that should be great. I've got a big vid coming up on the Saturday, the 23rd of June. One I've wanted to do for quite some time. And that video, ladies and gentlemen, is one I have been dying to do, because it's the one vid I've planned more than any other. 5 years on from the Benoit tragedy, I give my opinion. How about that? That is this upcoming Saturday. Yeah, that's the one vid you're getting next week, because I'm not doing any vids this week. Okay? Hope you look forward to that one, because I can't wait to get that one out of the way. Ooh, also, There's also, actually, no, it's not the only video I'm doing this week. There's a Friday flashback of WrestleMania 10 for Largest 85. Remember, you can like my Facebook page down there, you can search my name on Skype and ask me Q&A questions, as well as requesting a certain pay-per-view review, because I will be doing a lot of nothing in the month before I go to Australia. This should be a good time for me to cram in loads of wrestling. Am I right, folks? Okay, so WrestleMania 10 Friday, the Benoit vid on the Saturday, and that should satisfy your appetite between now and then, I hope. Maybe I get a Raw reaction in as well. This week could be full of crazy stuff. Guys, I've been Cream Crazy, you've been people watching. This has been my No Way Out 2012 views and opinions. Remember, click that subscribe button, like me on Facebook, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic week, and if you've got any finals on, or anything that happens in your life, hope it all goes well. Cheers.